So what do I do? So
I don't care. I've got bills to pay.
Yeah. Right.
It's that simple. So again, that's an you know there in like your heart you're like, why am I sending you, like, if you're not going to reply to the text and you're not going to reply to an email, you didn't show up, it's like 3 strikes and you're out. Christmas cancellations. It's cold weather cancellations. You'll get a lot of, and like there's a few things you've got to factor in. Sometimes it is a genuine, like in America they have the problem, the north and the south. Obviously in the north, like Philadelphia, New York, those type of areas where it's the blizzards, the freezing cold weather, the snow, it impacts a lot of businesses. One clinic I worked with, like it was like 40% sometimes, I think, through sort of November, December, January. Their cancellations and no-shows were like just through the roof because of weather. So there's a few things you have to empathise with. Certain types of clients won't come out no matter what you do, like the elderly, and obviously our population is slightly older. So the elderly are not going to come out if it's blizzard. They're not going to come out if it's icy. They're petrified of it. So you've got to kind of understand that, and we just have to be ready for it, really. And I think a lot of it will go down to you and your intuition of when. Obviously the issue is if somebody cancels, that's fine, but obviously from a business point of view, we lose potentially the revenue into the business, and we know right now we're packed and people are trying to get in. So what you have to do as a front desk person is use your intuition. That if we know people are like likely to call up, or the weather is bad, or whatever it will be, that there might be 1 or 2 people who do cancel today. It's to have those people on standby. Now, there'll always be a scenario where if you have 2 or 3 people who are on standby, you make a phone call on the morning and go, hey, Steve, I know the other day you rang and you wanted an appointment. Today is a bad day with whatever, and we might get 1 or 2 cancellations. Are you free anytime? So you can actually jump in that way. Does that make sense? So you're almost, if you open up expecting it, rather than being like angry about it, it's easier to make a difference. So if you open up on a morning at 9 o'clock and hope to God that nobody cancels, you'll be frustrated at 6 o'clock because it's going to happen. It's the winter. Like it just does. What you get in life is like equal and opposite extremes. So I always say with patients, whenever they absolutely love us, I don't really take any notice of their like feedback if they're absolutely just in love with it, because we could like commit holy murder and they'd still think we're brilliant. And it's the same with the guy who gives me like, not that I've ever had it, but if I ever had like an absolute horrible review, or somebody who just doesn't like the service, I don't like, and he just is irate and he rants and he raves, I would treat both reviews with the same level of thinking, that I'm not really asked about either, because they come from the same extreme. They come from an extreme. It's the people in the middle that you're interested in. It's the 8 out of 10 in the middle who just come in, have their treatment, have their coffee, have chat with receptionists, have some fun and go. Like those are the people that I look for. And what you find with the weather, it's the same. The 2 extremes bring out a behaviour in patients who, when it's sunny, particularly in England, like when it's sunny on them like 5 days of the year that we do actually get the sun, they want to do something else. And the snow and the rain and the wind and the ice and the dark will do the same. So you're probably, I think you two are going to notice it more, obviously, because it's your first winter working here, but this is just what kind of happens. It is, it just is. And again, like, you haven't come from a background to notice it, but your background in legal, if my ass is on the line, I'm coming to the law office, whether it snows, whether it's windy, whether it's wild, it's wet, it's whatever. If I'm getting divorced, if I'm buying a house, like they're pretty significant events in my life that I'm going to come to at 4 o'clock, whether it's snowy, blizzardy, icy or whatever. For physio, I don't know. They're not that motivated to be here in the first place, and that's the challenge that we have as business owners, is to get people into that frame of mind where they see the potential, and we do it extremely well, and I have no issues with it. You just have to factor in that they will. There's nothing.
Because if
Well, it's like what I always say, you know, if you look outside and it's snowy and it's icy and it's awful, anticipate it. And I have no problem with like somebody doing it once. If they do it again, they're gone. If they do it again, we anticipate it and we move them out, or we take payment up front for the second session if you think that it's just taking a piss. If they're just ringing because it's, you know, they can't be bothered. And again, you will get it. You'll get people go, I need to go Christmas shopping. They're not going to tell you that, but all that's going to go on in the next few weeks, and it's never going to be stopped. The key word, I think, is damage limitation. Just limit the impact that it has on the business, and you'll do that by anticipating it and opening up at 9 o'clock by thinking, this is likely to have, we are likely to have 2 or 3 calls that will cancel today. Look through the schedule, and you'll probably know in your head who it's gonna be. And if that's the case, when you're getting patients now that we can't get in as fast as we would like, start to write those guys down and just say, hey, you know, if we get any cancel, send a quick text. If we get any cancellations today, do you want to come in? I would go back to your list of people. Anybody who cancels on the day, it becomes an eye for an eye. Moving forward.
And he didn't turn up for his last one, so I've sent him the email, give him a ring, didn't answer. So then he's due in again today. So I've sent his text and I've just said, hey Ben, I'm reminding about your appointment tomorrow. I know you didn't attend your last one.
He's not coming. I would assume he's not coming. I don't care. Nothing. If he turns up, it's his own fault. He's not coming. That guy needs. If that happens, if somebody books out 2 or 3 sessions, and or their full plan of care doesn't show up for one and then doesn't reply to a text or an email, he's off the list. Like,
he's been in for about 10 sessions.
Yeah, and I don't care if he comes in and he's double booked. It's his fault. He didn't show up. He didn't have the courtesy to ring back after. You just don't do that. Like that again is so obvious from human behaviour that there's an issue, or he just treats us and he doesn't really care.
So what do I do?
I don't care. I've got bills to pay. It's that simple. So again, that's an you know there in like your heart you're like, why am I sending you, like, if you're not going to reply to the text and you're not going to reply to an email and he didn't show up, it's like 3 strikes and you're out. And if he shows up at 10:20 and somebody's booked, I don't care. Like, he didn't have the decency to tell us that he wasn't showing up on the last one. He didn't have the decency to ring 20 minutes after the session and say, I'm sorry. He didn't have the decency to ring 24 hours later when you go, oh my God, I forgot, I should have went for physio. He didn't have the decency to reply to a text to say, yes, I'm still coming, even though I know I screwed you around 3 days ago. And he hasn't had the decency to reply to an email. Shall I keep going? Again, like, you know that's the right answer to do that. You just need to hear it. So for me, that guy's off the list. And if he shows up, it's his fault. We'll offer him a session tomorrow or the day after, but it's his fault. Like, we can't have patients like that in the business. If he doesn't show up and then he calls the next day and he's like, I'm really sorry, or even if he would reply to the text saying, yeah, I'll be there, then that's benefit of the doubt. But by the way, the money that we're getting off Boop as well is not even close to what we're getting off a cash patient. So he's actually costing me money in the first place. Now he's really costing me money.
Yeah, it's like with the insurance, you can sort of say, oh, you pay for the close. With the private patients, you can have the cancellation. With Boop, you really like, do you have a threat to do? That's what we're saying, we don't know what's it.
It's not a threat. I don't want to threaten people. I just don't want to do business with people who don't give a shit. I just don't want their money. I don't care. Like that's the way I've run a business all the way through. I don't want your money. Like, I want to provide you with the service that you need and that you value and that you want and that you have enough respect for, me and my staff, to actually send us a fucking text and say, yeah, I'll be there, or no, I won't. And if you don't, go somewhere else. Like,
I realise as well, especially if it's like a Bupa clinic, because we're one of the few ones, especially if it is one, and trying to bring in you from Scarborough, just not around,
yeah.
Except for us, and I was like, you're just going to have to come with us then, and like, was quite sympathetic to it.
Yeah.
She was saying that I'm happy to come in with it being Bupa, but I'm annoyed at Bupa for all that reason.
Well, Bupa have made a rod for their own back because of the fees that they charge, and I've had many a fight with Bupa about it, where a few times I've threatened to come off if they don't start playing ball, and probably will after January anyway. It's not going to be much longer while we stick to these companies. Once I will go through this business with a fine-tooth comb in the next 6 weeks, and there will be another 3 or 4 companies that are gone, because it's just not worth it. Because that could be one person today that we don't get in as a result of that Bupa patient, who could have gone on to spend more money with us and buy orthotics and then refer a friend or whatever, that would have meant we can see one person instead of 3 to make the same money. And that's where I'm going with the business. It's going to be less people, less staff, high profits. Like that's going to be the goal. But for people who give a crap, so you'll generally find it is the insurance, whiplash type RTA stuff that won't show anywhere. How many privates are you getting? Or not?
That was the thing. It's been like.
Because generally, as I've looked at all your stats coming over while I've been in America, it's always been like, I don't know, let's say there's 8 no-shows or cancellations with like 5 insurance, 3 privates, that type of thing.
Yeah, it is still.
And that's, do you know what? It's still bloody good.
Yeah.
Our percentage DNA no-show rate is like nothing. Like a lot of clinics is like 8, 9, 10%. If you look at our numbers, that would be 30 people a week. More. 35 to 40 people a week would be no-showing in our clinic. And that's the standard, like for a lot of clinics. Some clinics would be like, my no-show rate's 92, my arrival rate's 92, 93%. So their no-show rate's 7%. On a clinic like ours, where there's 400 a week coming through the doors, do the math. You'd be getting 40 or 50, you'd be getting 10 a day no-showing. 10 a day no-showing. Now largely there's something in that. Largely that's with the in-network clinics where it's all insurance. There's the story again. Cash, the arrival rate of cash pay practices should be and usually is significantly higher because they're more committed to paying, because they are like invested in the process at a much higher level than somebody who's got an insurance. That makes sense. So again, within a patients, there's subcultures of patients all the time, and the biggest giveaway is usually the insurance. It's like somebody else is paying for that. Somebody else is paying for that guy's thing, so he's not as committed to it as somebody who's already in 8 sessions has invested $400 or $500 or £500, wants to spend an extra 100 or 2 just to make sure he gets his money's worth. So that I think I would throw that back to you and put we are very good at it, and the whole collective process that we have works fabulously well. We're obviously always trying to, even if you can improve upon 1 or 2 patients that don't drop off, it's an impact that you make money for the business by doing that. And if you can spot it and you can expect it, I wake up every day anticipating a problem. Like that's just the way I live. So I don't get peed off when it happens. Rather than everybody else driving to work thinking, I hope we don't have problems. Mine is like, which one do I want? Like, which one am I going to get today? Like, is it a staff quitting? Is it a staff pregnancy? Like, I was flying home from Orlando. I'm like, which one of them's pregnant now? Like, flying home. So it's easy to wake up on that. It's easy to wake up on that given day and think, I'm going to have problems. Like, which one do I want? Rather than today's going to be like perfect, and then get to 10:30 and you're like, toys are all out of the pram and your hair's like torn out, which is how most people live. Most people wake up and go to work today. They've been told that it should be perfect and life should be great and it should be wonderful and it should be absolutely rosy all day, every day. And they can't understand why, like 25 years later at 10 o'clock every day, still, like, they're mad. Because it just doesn't. Well, it'll always be, because it's how you interpret it. It's whatever you want it to be. And I've said this to you since the day you came in. It's whatever you want it to be. Like, it always will be. You can change the meaning of it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
From...
we have had a positive outlook on this, everything we've done. I think that's massively coming from like reviews that we're getting as well.
Yeah. It's good, and that's what you pay attention to. It's the little things that give you the courage. It's very easy to get focused on one bad thing, like the no-show, like the whatever, and you forget about all the good things that are going on around you. Just because one guy doesn't turn up, or one guy gives you a bad review, or one guy doesn't, who cares? Like, what the hell? Like, if you're thinking you're going to wake up every day and please everybody, never in a million years. So that's why I would sum that situation up with you. I'm not even going to go into scripts or anything, because I don't believe it's a script issue. Because it's so low. Like, the arrival rate is so high anyway. But what it is from your point of view is, how can you even just rescue 1 or 2 from the point of view of, we know it's going to happen, use your intuition, drop subtle hints on the phone, or when patients book appointments, reinforce the fact even more that we're packed. And don't use it from a monetary point of view that we're threatening you. The best way to get it is an emotional guilt from a, Steve, listen, I know you've just booked all those 6 sessions, are you definitely going to be able to arrive? Oh, yeah, why? Just, we have a waiting list, and just get a bloody piece of paper with a load of people's names on it. And just go, listen, like, this is the, in fact, that's what I want you to do. Somebody today, just start, like, get that, like, and just go. No, yeah, Bob Smith, John Smith, Dave Smith, Steve Smith, Barry Smith. Just get all of the, just get in there. I mean, there is a waiting list anyway. Just keep that at hand and just go, look, like, all these people want to get in, and we know it's tempting over Christmas and winter for people not to show up sometimes because they've got other things to do. But listen, what I want to say is, it's not even about the no-show rate. It's the fact that we've got other, and it's the truth. It's what you, like you've said this morning, we've got other people who want to get in. So I think you need to communicate that, and that's it. You just need to reinforce when they book out their sessions. Stevie, you're definitely going to be able to attend all 6. And stop, and then they'll say, oh, like, why? Yeah, of course. Or it's just that we know, obviously, we winter coming, it's tempting with Christmas and everything else for people to call us on the day and find something else to do. Something else that creeps up, we understand that. But just to let you know, we have a huge waiting list of people trying to get in, and like right now, people have got bad backs and bad knees who are desperate for help. So if there is ever an issue, if you could give us at least a couple of days' notice, because we can fill that slot.
Any problem attending any of them would appreciate 24 hours more.
I think you got to go one step further, because if you and that's good, right? If you understand that, if I said to you, you've just said to me 3 seconds after I've booked out 6 sessions, right? If you have any problems attending those, in that moment, do I think I have any problem attending those sessions? Because I've just booked them out.
Yeah.
And every single person on earth today is getting told the same by dentist, doctor, lawyer, whoever. If you have a problem attending, will you? Of course I will. Yes, no. And then, in fact, 9 out of 10 will go, oh, they won't. I'll be there. Nope, I'm not like the rest of the world. I'll be there. Because in that moment, they don't anticipate the weather, the ice, the kids screaming, the tyres not doing whatever, like the shopping, the thing that they can't find online that they've got to rush out for to get, like, in that moment, because it's more important than their bloody back pain. That's what they do. So I think your communication is 3 feet from gold. So you're not really like telling me you're not telling me to anticipate a problem. But if you use the words, hey Steve, I know you've just booked those 6 sessions. Are you definitely going to be able to attend all 6? Stop. Yes. Yeah, of course. Or it's just that we know it's tempting for people at this time of year with the dark nights and the weather and Christmas coming up to maybe, call us and not show up or whatever, or call us and cancel on the day. And right now we have a waiting list as long as our arm with people trying to get in, and we desperately don't want those people to miss out on the care and the treatment that they need so close to Christmas. Now that is a different level. See the difference? So now you put an emotional hold on me. That if that's the dentist, right, and you've just told me that, hey, or my dentist says, hey Paul, listen, I've squeezed you in to get this tooth problem sorted out before Christmas. How lucky are you? Oh yeah, okay, I'm grateful. But I want to let you know there's like 20 people in this area right now who are desperate to get in to see me with tooth pain, who can't sleep, and who just want to get that tooth out before Christmas. You've got their place, you've got their spot. So the thought of me cancelling is now not going to happen, because I know there's a few things going on. A, human beings just don't like doing stuff like that if they're reminded of it. And B, I know then that when I next go and see him or Tim or come back in here, you'll think I'm an absolute selfish bastard, because you told me that people were trying to get in and I got their space, and I'm the one lucky enough to get the pain relief before Christmas, and there's a load of people who aren't getting the pain relief before Christmas. Make sense? So it's a whole new different level of, are you going to be able to attend all 6 sessions? Yes, I am. If there's a problem, you let me know. Oh, there won't be. I'd actually wager that the fact that most of them say there won't be a problem is the problem. Because they're convincing themselves that there isn't going to be a problem. They're not even thinking of it. They don't think that the Amazon thing or the shops thing is like a problem. It's like they think that there's something they've got to do. They don't think that's a problem. If there's a problem, no problems. I just had to go shopping. No problem, my kid was ill. Like, they just see that as a normal everyday event. So I think we flip it and go an emotional hold on people and anticipate it. And if you do that, I guarantee you'll get more people. You'll also get more gratitude from patients who will think that they're very lucky to get in, which they are. So again, don't hold that back. Don't ever forget the impact that has. If I rang up a solicitor today and I was able to get in at 10:15, at first I think, oh great, But then later on I'd be like, well, bloody hell, if I was able to get in that quick, he's not that good. Like, because anybody who I deal with is usually like, listen, you're gonna have to wait 2 weeks, like, before I can even consider speaking to you or getting in to see you. So we kind of want that to be enforced as well. So it's a fabulous marketing ploy, strategy, tactic, tool, whatever you want to call it, to say to somebody who's arrived, to make this sale stick. Make it stick. So even after the first session, by saying, hey, listen, we have a waiting list as long as our arm, that gets another load of people into that, wow, like what a cool place this is, and this is the type of place I want to come. This is how they want me to behave. So you're conditioning patients into how you want to do business with them, which is massive. A lot of clinics struggle with that. It's like the inmate from the asylum. And they're looking for this, like, you'll hear it all the time on the calls. They're looking for this like magic, oh, we had a patient who said this, like, what do we do? It's like, well, you've got to go all the way back, and there's probably 10 things that you've got to say or do that need to happen in sequence. Compound effect that makes somebody feel a certain way about doing business with you. It's not just to say this on the script. That little thing there of, hey, we have a waiting list, makes them feel more grateful for coming to this type of place, less likely to ever let you down because they might not be able to get back in. And they're just, human beings will always do what the masses do. And if they think this is a clinic that the masses go to, they want to keep coming. If they think this is a clinic where there's gaps everywhere and nobody arrives and you just take anybody through the doors, they'll treat you that way. But if you set out your intentions pretty early and tell people how you want to do business and how you do business, they play ball. They just do, like human beings do. And that's, I think, is a big thing for a lot of people to understand. And a lot of business owners, certainly I work with, struggle to understand that you, like, how you treat people and how you speak to people determines how they'll play back to you. Whereas most businesses, it's just come on in and walk all over us and we'll hope to God that we get paid at the other end. Because they're frightened like hell of losing patients. And you know that's not the case here. It's like, it's 100% respect for the right person. The right customer that comes through the door. For the other person, it's okay, we respect you as a human being, but you're not right for this. You're not right for this business, you need to go somewhere else. It might be that guy. You don't respect us. Why do I want your money? I don't want your fucking money. Because there's millions of people out there who do respect, like you and Amy and Rachel and everybody else in here, who do see the value, who do want to get in, and do value service and customer care over anything else. And that's pretty big in business. And more in this economy that you're in, that's going to win.